So we want to use the chair today to help develop coordination within the body, which requires all kinds of connections that we don't usually fire up. And we're going to be using principles that we've gone over in the past about keeping the upper chest open, keeping the tummy drop so the pelvis can open, and coordinating between our three main centres, which are our feet centre, our pelvic centre and our upper chest centre. So let's have a look at that. So we can start off with just some formal footwork, which is normally done in this fashion with feet hip width apart, heels. And we can start, if we want to work kind of rigidly like this, keeping the body really still, we achieve one sort of effect. But if we want to utilise the pedal more to our advantage in terms of using its energy from the springs rather than fighting against it, look what happens. I lean into the pedal, and as I lean in, my body lifts naturally. So I'm setting up a kind of a cyclic wave within my body where I'm utilising the stored energy in the springs to lift my body. So I'm just leaning into that pedal, and that pedal is helping lift and lift my body. So we can come back to our idea of using imaginary external objects that we're interacting with. So soccer ball on the upper right hand side of my chest, bang, bang. Turning the head away from that area is going to help open it. And seeing that ball as if they're coming from all directions. Bang, bang, bang. Now we can also use different parts of our body, not just our chest, but the neck is a really important part of our body that we rarely mobilise properly. So even thinking of things coming in towards our neck and bang, 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 bang. So again, we're using that energy in the springs, stored in the springs, to help propel that energy right through our body. And we can only do that if we're very connected. So we can do that in all foot positions. So, we can turn our feet to one side, which gives the body a different coordination to have to lean. We can go onto our toes. And again, thinking of the upper body as interacting with things that, we can produce mentally, coming from any direction at all. Using our head to propel things away from our body, or using our body not necessarily to propel, but just to lean into those imaginary surroundings. So if we had more time, we would turn the other way and do everything the same. And interacting with our arms, all surfaces of our arms, all surfaces of our body. Using the energy from the spring rather than fighting it. Okay. So let's turn towards the chair now, and we'll go into a split pedal. And let's look at this a basic pike exercise, which in formally it's trained as an abdominal exercise where we keep quite still in our upper body and we use our abdominals to lift. Well, let's make that a little bit different. Let's start setting up a little bit of a rocking movement in our body. And as we lean back, we can think of using our tailbone to push that imaginary kitchen drawer in, and using our hands to pull that chest forward. So therein we've got a lovely opening stretch to the whole body, plus with that tail out, It's stretching right down, not just the hamstrings, but right through the calves, right through into the heel. So everything is connected head to foot. The chest is connecting to the tailbone. The more I reach my chest forward, the more my tailbone is freed up to go back. The more my tailbone pushes back, the more free my chest is to move. And the more those two interact, the more it's connecting in via the hamstrings to my feet. So everything beautifully set to work in coordination from feet through to pelvis through to upper body. So instead of doing this statically, the pike statically, let's just rock forwards, keeping that head up, chest open and relaxed so the air can come in and fill that space and create that lovely open shape in our chest. So the air is doing that work for us. And the more we lean forward, that pedal is just going to lift by itself. That's the one. And let's just lean back to come back down. Lovely. So we're setting up a rocking rhythmical movement where we, to save burning out, to save discomfort, our body is learning to adapt to gravity. It's learning to adapt to the spring mechanisms. It's learning to adapt to the shape of the equipment that it's interacting with. So these are all interactive learning opportunities, basically. Whereas just doing it fixed like this, well, it's pretty much described as just an abdominal exercise. So here we have interaction, we have coordination between chest, tailbone, feet, and the springs, and everything is learning to move efficiently and in an open state, not a contracted state. That's lovely. So we can play around with this, taking our arms to one side, because the more we free ourselves from these like two-dimensional, I like to say one-dimensional movements, the more we free our body, the more we unrestrict our bodies from those perpetually grained in patterns of movement, we free up more of our bodies and give relief to those overworked parts, and we wake up the underused parts. So we can even take that a little bit further around. We can take our feet sideways. That's it. Now in this position it's quite interesting because we can set up some pedaling action. We can set up some skateboarding in Iceland action. Riding around corners or pedaling around corners. That's it. So interaction going on between the chest, the pelvis and the feet. And there's many ways as possible to free up as much of our bodies as possible. So working the weight over the pedal, working the weight over the chair. Keeping the chest open. And leaning a weight into the support wherever it's available. Right, okay. So let's extend this into a nice complete 360-degree movement. So we've gone from here, we've gone to here. Let's come around. Let's come around further. And come all the way around, opposite to how we started. Now, in order to be able to suspend our body with our shoulders, with our tail lifted, look what happens. If we have our shoulders forward, we try to slip off. That's okay, that's okay. But if we just rest back and let the head rest back, the chest opens, the shoulders move into a wonderful position, the breathing is opened, and we're just resting back. We're just resting back and we're just leaning into the pedals. We're not even needing to push. The body is interacting with the equipment. It's gaining even support not just from the chair but from the springs. That's it, right. Okay. And then if we have more time, we'll just circle all the way around. That's it. And again, we're just trying to, whatever different positions, the more different positions, the more of our bodies are learning to free up and coordinate and connect. And try not to forget that head movement, which is always the one that I tend to forget. We don't normally move our heads nearly enough. It's one way of controlling things to keep your head still. So from here we can do some kneeling, which is a little bit more challenging and you need to use a little bit of caution here. If you don't feel safe first up kneeling with your foot on the pedal, certainly start off on the floor, just getting used to kneeling, just to build up the confidence in those muscular connections. That's it. You don't want to fall off once you're up at this height. So let's start leaning into that pedal. So traditionally we'll do it like this in a fixed posture with this muscle just working down into the pedal. Or we can just lean. And we can start playing with our soccer balls. Start playing with our neck, moving our soccer balls. The hard one for me is using the neck backwards. So I probably need to spend more time. It's even hard for me to, not only hard in terms of getting the effort, it's the coordination. So again, we're using that resistance of the spring to help propel the movement. That's it. Now let's throw in some different combinations of angles through the hip. That's it, good. So leaning and anchoring into the pedal in the chair. And that's propelling my movement. So the more I lean, the more propulsion I get. So now the hardest version of this is to face towards the pedal. And we can just do the same thing. Quite challenging to have the toes on the pedal for this one. And we can turn that leg, we can rotate it out. We can rotate it in. And then we can start playing with our soccer balls. So if I can just get my coordination right. A good way to work with the opening of one side of the chest is to turn the head the other way. You certainly don't have to, but it helps open the chest on that side if you use some oppositional movement with the rest of your body, in this case turning the head away from the direction of the chest, going forwards, turning the head back, away. So really the challenge in terms of, the concept of exercise is, are we trying to conform our bodies to an exercise, or are we using an exercise to help the body, find all its possible connections and reach its greatest potential in terms of freedom of movement and adaptability of movement to anything in our surroundings. And also, the more freedom of physical movement that we gain, we tend to... I've spoken to other people who are working with me in this way, and they're finding that it helps emotional expression. Just, they don't know where it's coming from. It's like emotions are being expressed a lot more comfortably and out of the blue, spontaneously. So please try and get the maximum enjoyment for your body, using the machine for what your body wants, rather than you making your body do what the exercise prescribes.